Hey y'all, welcome back, and welcome if you are new. My name is Sam and welcome to my channel. I have some easy and delicious weeknight meal ideas for you this week, so let's just get right into the video.
We've been acting out for days, nothing to deny. Blown up because echoes through the halls. You keep sleeping on the couch just to prove the point. I'm too proud to tell you when I'm wrong. Arguments spinning in circles, we're fighting for days, stuck in a phase. I think we're losing the reason. One word is all it takes, babe. Bursting out in cold flames. Breathing, we are catching fire. Thought that we were wiser. Go and light the match, babe. Miss out on the good days. Breathing, we are catching fire. Oh, fire, fire. Oh, fire, fire. Oh, fire, fire. Fire, fire.
Alright guys, so for dinner tonight I'm going to make Indian tacos. You've seen me make my fry bread. I've got that ready to go here. I'm going to fry that up in just a few minutes. For the taco portion, or the taco meat portion, I've got some ground beef. I've got a half of an onion that I need to use up, some garlic, some taco seasoning. You can use any kind of brand that you want, and you can top this however you like. I've got some black beans here that I'm going to drain and rinse and heat up. I've got some olives here that I'm going to drain and slice up. I've also got some lettuce, some tomatoes, and sour cream in the fridge, but I'll get those out later. But for now I'm going to go ahead and cook up my ground beef and onion, add a little bit of garlic, and then I'm going to add in some taco seasoning with a little bit of water and let that cook up. And I'm going to add some oil to a pan and get these going, and I will show you what these look like when I get them in the pan. Alright, so I've got my meat browns up. I added a little bit of salt and pepper, some garlic, a couple of tablespoons of the taco seasoning, and some water. So I'm going to let that hang out and thicken up. In the meantime, I've got my fry bread going here, and it doesn't take long for these to cook at all. All you do is put a little bit of oil in your pan, let it heat up, and put it in there, and let it brown up on each side. Put it on a paper towel lined plate to drain, and just do that with all of them and you're pretty much good to go. So I'll show you what it looks like when everything's done. Okay guys, this is everything done and completed. I've got my ground beef mixture here. I've got some black beans, some lettuce, cheese, green onions, hot sauce, olives, some tomatoes, some fresh salsa. This right here, this tabla fresca farm stand cilantro salsa is absolutely delicious. This is our favorite. If you don't like spice, see if they have mild, because this has got a kick to it. I've got some sour cream, and my fry bread is all done. So I'm going to make me my plate, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, so this is my plate. I promise there's fry bread under there. I've got a little bit of everything on here. I've got some meat, beans, olives, tomatoes, sour cream, cheese. I just got a little bit of everything. Topped it off with some hot sauce. This is absolutely delicious. My daughter is extremely excited because this is one of her favorite meals. So this is what's for dinner tonight. Okay guys, so I'm going to start off by saying I've got my windows open, so if you hear anything in the background, it's either birds chirping, dogs barking, or traffic. That's why it's such a beautiful day outside, so I just wanted to open up the windows. But today I'm going to make some soup. I'm going to make my chicken and wild rice soup. It's so good and so easy. So what I've got here is I've got some chicken broth. You can use any brand that you like. I like the Knorr brand. So I've just got about 8 cups of water. I've got some wild rice here, some olive oil. This is just to cook up the onions and carrots. I like to cook these separate and then add them to my crock pot because I don't like the texture of them. I don't think they get as tender as I want them to be when they're cooked from raw in the crock pot. So I've got that there. I've got some lemon here. I'm going to use some lemon juice and some lemon zest. I've got some bay leaf. Well, I'm going to use a bay leaf. I've got some thyme, some pepper, and of course your chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a skillet out, add a little bit of oil, let that get hot in the pan, add my onions and carrots, and cook that up until they're tender, and then we will add all of this to the crock pot. Okay, so my onions and carrots are tender. They've got a little color on them, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm going to get my slow cooker out, and then we will get this all put in the slow cooker, and we will have some delicious soup in a couple of hours. Alright, my carrots and onions are done, and I just added my chicken to my slow cooker here. Added the onions and carrots on top with a little bit of pepper, and I forgot to mention earlier, you're going to need about 4 cups of spinach. This is just frozen spinach. I buy it fresh. I immediately put it into a Ziploc bag, pop it in the freezer so I have it anytime I want it, because we can't eat it fast enough if it just sits in the fridge. So that is what I do, and this is just 4 cups of spinach. I've got that in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and add in my thyme, my bay leaf, chicken broth, which I've already zested the lemon in there, and I've got the juice in there as well, and I just kind of mixed it up. And I've gone ahead and measured out my rice. You're going to need 1.5 cups of that. Now I will leave this recipe on my blog, so the link to the recipe will be in the description box below for this recipe and any other recipe, unless it's someone else's recipe. The link will be to their blog or channel, or if it's a cookbook, the cookbook will be linked in the description box as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of this in there, and then I will show you what it looks like.
Silent treatment ain't no cure, just making it harder. Keep on acting busy on your phone. I just wanna feel your touch, baby, can we stop this? Don't you wanna hold me anymore? Arguments spinning in circles, we're fighting for days, stuck in a phase. I think we're losing the reason. One word is all it takes, babe, bursting out in cold flames, breathing me.
Okay, so I've got everything in there, and I know it looks like a huge mess, but it's going to cook up and be so good. Now we're going to let this cook for about 3.5 to 4 hours, just until the chicken is cooked through and the rice is tender. Now the rice cooks at different speeds on different crock pots, so just be mindful of that and keep an eye on it. When the rice and chicken is done and tender, you're pretty much good to go. Now at the end of the cooking time of this, you can add some cream. You don't have to, but I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of cream just to make it a little bit more rich. So we're going to pop the lid on this, and I've already got it set to high, and we're going to let this cook for about 3.5 to 4 hours until everything is done and tender, and then we will add some cream, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, so the soup is almost done. I'm going to go ahead and shred up my chicken, add that back in there, add a little bit of cream. I've got some dough here. This is sourdough. I'm going to section this out and make some flatbread to go with dinner. But I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then dinner will be done. Okay guys, here is the soup. I just shredded up the chicken and added a little bit of cream, mixed it up, checked the seasoning. I added a little bit more salt and pepper, and this soup is good to go. I've got my a sourdough flatbread here that I'm going to serve on the side. So yeah, this is what's for dinner tonight. Okay guys, today I'm gonna make a super easy dinner. We're gonna make my rendition of the sweet chili barbecue meatballs. These are so good. They're a little bit more Asian inspired. So this is what I've got. I've got a pack of, this is the family pack of home style meatballs. You can do whatever kind that you prefer. I've got some barbecue sauce here that I need to use up. This is the Stubbs Sticky Sweet. If you have not tried this brand, I highly recommend it. It's so good. So I've got that to use up. I've got some sweet chili sauce here. I'm going to use probably a half to 3/4 of this. I'm going to use the whole jar of this because there's probably 3/4 left of that, so I need to use that up. I've got some toasted sesame oil here, and I'm going to use just a tiny bit of this, probably about a teaspoon. I've got some pepper and some Chinese 5-spice. I'm going to use probably a little less than half of a teaspoon of this because this is really stout. So that is what I've got going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my meatballs to my crock pot, which I've got sprayed with some spray here, some oil spray. That's ready to go. So I'm going to take my meatballs, add them in here, add all of the rest of the ingredients, kind of stir it around, pop the lid on. I'm going to set it to high. I'm going to let it cook on high for 2 hours, and then I'm going to cut it down on low and let it cook on low until dinner time. It is 12 o'clock now, so it should be good. So 2 hours on high, 3 hours on low. So I will show you what these look like when I get them in the crock pot. Okay, so I've got all of that in there. I just added a little bit of water to the jar of barbecue sauce, kind of shook it up and get the rest of the sauce out from in the bottle. And then I just added the rest of the ingredients. And now I'm just going to stir these up, make sure they're all nice and coated. Now, mind you, these are frozen, and I used probably about a half of a bag. I can use the other half of the meatballs for like spaghetti and meatballs or something for a quick dinner one night next week. So that is done. Get rid of that spoon. I'm going to pop the lid on. And like I said, this is going to go on high for 2 hours. And this is going to cook for 2 hours. Then I'm going to turn it down on low and let it finish cooking. And when it gets time, a closer time to dinner, I'm going to make some rice and some vegetables. Probably some green beans to go with this. I'll have to see if I have any. If not, I will probably do some asparagus. But I think we've got some green beans in the freezer. So we're going to go ahead and let this do its thing. And then I will see you back at dinner time. Alright guys, here is my plate. I've just got a little bit of rice here and some of the little meatballs with the barbecue chili sauce. And I've got some green beans with some butter and the Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse seasoning. So yeah, that's what's for dinner tonight. My daughter and I were out doing some grocery shopping today, and we were not going to be home to make dinner. We were out doing some things in town, so my daughter decided that she wanted Sonic, so that's where we went for dinner. She had the chicken tenders with the mozzarella sticks, and she got the, I think she got ocean water if I remember correctly. But I just got the regular chicken sandwich with the lettuce, tomatoes, with a side of onion rings and a Diet Coke. So yeah, you guys, that's what we had for dinner tonight. Alright, this is this coming week's meal plan. On Monday, we're going to have honey pepper mac and cheese because I didn't get to it. I didn't have the time to make it. So we're going to have that on Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to make a Thanksgiving inspired dinner. We're going to have crock pot chicken and gravy, cornbread loaf, broccoli, and for dessert, we're going to have raisin walnut pinwheels. Wednesday, we're going to have crock pot roast with veggies and some corn cakes with walnuts and sage. It's absolutely delicious. Thursday, we're going to have southwestern chicken with smoky scalloped potatoes and a side of corn. So yeah, that's what we're going to have for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.